Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Adventures of Stormraiser. As you can tell, I am back coughing as usual because I apparently have one of those dry coughs. I think my mom has it too. But hey, welcome back to The Adventures of Stormraiser. I am your host, as always, Mr. Stormraiser himself. So I thought today, I didn't really have a plan today. Now, what happens when the unexpected happens, right? Because what happens when something unexpectedly good happens? We're going to cover that, and we're going to talk about what happens when unexpectedly bad things happen. So today is Expect the Unexpected on Stormraiser. So let's get started. Today is, I believe, is the 22nd of August. Hope you're all having a good summer. I know the fair in Essex starts up in about 4 days. So that'll be cool, right? Get to go to the fair, get some of that fried dough everyone likes. If I go to the fair, folks, it's gonna be for the food. I think that's why most people go. By the way, you can watch, I believe it's called Street Signs. You can watch, he always has a special episode about the Champlain Valley Fair. So that's always cool to get some information about the fair. Or I guess you can go online. Or you can always go on the VCAM website, vermontcam.org. I believe it is, right? vermontcam.org. And you can just browse around. You can watch Stormraiser. You can watch any other show. You can watch Street Signs. You can watch any other show on VCAM, on the VCAM website. It's actually pretty easy to use. Now let's talk about when something unexpectedly good happens, right? Now, I think that's pretty common for something unexpectedly good to happen because people these days always expect something bad, right? It just seems to happen. But, I mean, like, it's always nice when something good happens, right? Because it can be kind of common, but it also can be kind of rare in some people's lives. So, it can be kind of rare sometimes. So, that's how that goes. Now, let's talk about something unexpectedly good. Like, well, I'm sorry, bad. But let's talk about good for an instant here. Now, like, a wedding can be good, for example. Depends on the people, though, right? Well, that's another story. Depends on a lot of different factors. But like when you get something, I don't know, for your birthday, right? A birthday surprise that may not be a good thing. Well, you know, surprises are interesting because they're a surprise. Usually it's a good thing with small things. So big surprises can turn out kind of bad if you know what I mean. But today's theme is expect the unexpected. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that it's always good to expect the unexpected. I think, like, when you expect something bad to happen, like, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, right? Is that what it is? I think that's a pretty good saying or quote. I hope you all expect the best, at least from VCAM, right? You can always expect good quality programming the best from VCAM and Vermont Community Access Media on channel 15. That is channel 15. I had someone tell me that about this show, that I've reached people and I've done good for people. Well, I don't know if I have or not, but what I think is that I'm just here to give advice and suggestions. That's all I'm here to do. And that's all I'm here to do, folks. So, hope you're all enjoying your day. Hope you all are having a good day. It's a tad chilly out there. Not that I'm complaining. It's been kind of a warm summer so far. Kind of a hot summer. Like, I believe 2 weeks ago, this upcoming Wednesday, it was 96 flipping degrees. All right. And that's fairly warm. I don't think I can live out west. Like take Arizona, for example. Well, you know what? Because it get kind of warm over there. But you know what? I think we're pretty lucky here in Vermont. The worst weather we get, and it can be bad, but the worst weather we get is snow. So, I mean, there's the occasional rainstorm, which I think is pretty cool, actually. But when was our last big rainstorm with a bunch of eardrum shattering thunder? I haven't had that for a while. Kind of missed that. But, whether I've done good for people or not is really, it's really nice to hear that that I probably have. But you know what? Since the beginning of Stormwizer, I've worn this mask. I've worn this mask, and I think it's mainly to do with my superhero stuff. But what does a mask represent? What does a mask represent? I think it's all about hiding yourself, which I no longer want to do. So there are things out there that need to be talked about. And they need, I think not VCAM, but this show needs a face of someone who loves the world, who loves you, who wants you to succeed, who wants you to do everything that you can to make the world a better place. On that note, you're about to see me do something that I never thought I would do. Now, that's for good. This mask, gone. So I think that this world needs a hero, and I'm going to be that hero, because I'm in my little way, it's calling for at least people around this area. I'm calling for people around this area of Vermont, basically Chittenden County. I'm going to ask a couple of things of you. I'm going to ask you to treat people the way you want to be treated. Believe in yourself. And watch VCAM, because that's all that needs to happen, right? So, I think it's about time I took this off, Will I miss wearing my mask? Yes, I will. But when it comes down to it, folks, this mask was only hindering me. Was only hindering what I can say. Maybe not hindering what I can say, but maybe hindering how it reached people. Because there are a lot of things going on in the world right now. There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of everything going on that's negative. In this little world of VCAM and Vermont, Chittenden County, because that's VCAM's viewing area, I think it's about time we as a people come up, rise up, and say no. I'm not going to hide behind a mask. So that's what it's all about, folks. I'm calling for the viewership of VCAM for anyone within the sound of my voice. I want you to use your own voice too. We'll talk about that later. But I want you to use your own voice. But I like everyone within the sound of my voice to love each other and to love yourself. And it's not something I take lightly, saying that. It's not something that you should take lightly. Because do you have to love yourself before you love someone else? That's basically, yeah, but someone can show you how to love yourself, right? Right? That's an important thing. To love yourself, to always believe in yourself. Although, is it always easy? No, not. It's not easy at all. So, you might be changing your channels now. You know, flipping through the channels with the remote. And you might see someone on TV right now who is wearing a cape, who just took off his mask because, and I took off the mask because people need to know what happens, you know, what happens in the world, and it's not good. This is, I don't mean to be so serious, but this is kind of a serious episode, this particular one. So, you know, I think you should use your own voice for your own self. Can you use it for other people? Yes, you can, and you probably should. Maybe, like, take those with special needs, right? Those with special challenges. Although I never really liked the word disability, because, you know, it's only like, it's an ability. Anything is an ability. Like talking is, jumping in the air is, for example. And do you think something can be a disability or not an ability at all? I don't believe so. I can see how it's used though, but, you know, the word disability, but I don't know if it should be used that way. But anyway, those with special needs need a voice. They usually have one, but, you know, I think it takes a special kind of person to help those in need, right? To help those who may or may not be able to help themselves. Help not the weak, but well, I guess you could say that. For those, because there are those who use their voice for people who cannot use theirs. So, like those with special challenges, special needs, sometimes they can't talk. Sometimes they can't walk. Sometimes they can't without assistance, right? But what can you do to make the world and those with special challenges, special needs, make their world a tad bit better? And make this world a tad bit better. You can use your voice. Because today's kind of second theme is using your own voice for your own needs and for other people's needs as well. So let's get to lighthearted stuff, right? So that, you know, that is all set aside for now. Let's talk about dogs, man's best friend, right? Or I like to say human's best friend. A human being's best friend is a dog. You could say a cat too. what really are all animals man's best friend? I'd say yeah. I'd say yes to that, because it's always nice to, when I go on down Church Street or whatever, to see a dog. To see, because my dogs have all gone away. They're all up in Rainbow Bridge. So they're all gone. They've all passed. Rest in peace. But, you know, loss is really an interesting thing, because it's just really fascinating to me. Because, I don't know, what can you really do when you lose something like a pet or a friend? I think you could probably love another dog or another friend, right? Is that how it goes? I think it is. When you, like when my dog Joey passed away. I'm not going to try to talk about this very long because it's hard to talk about. When my dog passed away, I said, well, what am I going to do now? You know? What am I going to do now? You go find another dog or another animal, because I guarantee you that's what Joey would want. That's what your dog would want. That's what your best friend would want. Because in the world of today, there is not enough. There's not enough love in the world. Really think about that. Really think about it. Because there really isn't enough love in the world, folks. There really is not. So I try in my little corner of the world here, really the corner of Vermont, I guess, Chittenden County, to and all of VCAM, all of people within the sound of my voice. You can change the world with your own voice too. So today's main theme is using your own voice for your own needs and for other people's needs too, who may not be able to speak for themselves or who won't speak for themselves. But I must stress how important it is to use your own voice for, even if you don't want to, it's always an important thing to do that, all right? So let's go on an adventure, right? I like to think each episode of this show is an adventure through time and, well, not time and space, but through time. Because really, if you really think about it, we're going through time right now. That was a few seconds. So we're moving through time, and now I'm reminded of that soap opera. Which, honestly, I actually used to watch just some of those when I was a teenager. Mainly because it was fun to watch, and there really was nothing else to watch after school. So, let's talk about school. Let's talk about school. School's starting up in a little bit, right? A couple of weeks for people up here in Vermont, Chittenden County. Now we're going to get into bullying, talking about bullying again on the next episode of Stormraiser. But on this episode, I'm going to ask something of all of you who may be going to a new grade, who may be going into high school, middle school, elementary school. I need some water. Or any type of school where you may be with other people who might be bullied or might be anything like that. I'm going to ask you not to bully people, to treat people the way you want to be treated. Because that is very important. Very important. Stupid cape. Very important thing to treat people the way you want to be treated. Do you want to be bullied to the point of suicide? Probably not. Although that is something people don't like talking about. They always want to talk about bullying, but they never want to talk about the consequences of bullying. Because it's just not a cool thing to do. To bully someone, to make someone feel bad just because you have problems yourself. So that's how I feel. And it's kind of a fact that those who bully people aren't really, don't have everything together themselves, all right? But bullying can take many forms, okay? It can take an online form, which kind of need more rules around that. It can take in-person form. It can take a lot of different forms of bullying. So, and does it always happen between two kids on a playground or in school or whatever? No, it can also happen between two adults or adult to kid, adult to child, which is never cool. If you're gonna bully a child, you really need some help because that's never cool, So that's how that goes, folks. So today is August 22nd. The Champlain Valley Fair starts up in about 4 days. On the 26th of this month, about 4 days. Now I'm hoping it'll be a good week or so if you go to the fair. Hopefully it'll be a nice day. Because I mean, if you really think about it, this time of year is really nice. But I mean, how does the weather affect mood? I think weather can greatly affect someone's mood, actually, which is why some people have seasonal depression. All right. So some people have a lot of seasonal stuff. All right, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and I don't think it's really I don't think it's really like terrible. It can be a terrible thing, but I don't think it's like a mental illness or anything like that. But a lot of people have it. So, I mean, in winter time when it'll be dark in about 3 hours, and from now, it's about noon. It'll start getting dark in about 3 or 4 hours from now, if it were in like January. So, which we're not, thank goodness. So, what do you like during winter time? What do you like to do? I used to like going sledding. Now I just hibernate inside and play video games. So, that's what I think. So, today has been kind of a groundbreaking episode of Stormwizard. I took off my mask for good. I will no longer be wearing it because the way I see it is people need to see me. And people might say to me, or might think, no one said it to me, but they might think, you're just up as a superhero, on TV. So what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with the world. When they think that everything going on in the world is okay and there's not a problem. Well, there is. So, when something in the world bad happens, I think there are a lot of different things that can be a consequence of that, like wars or anything like that. So, wow, 5 minutes already. This was a fast episode. I told you it goes fast, Bill. Which, I gotta give a thumbs up to the VCAM staff. I'm not kissing anything. I think the VCAM staff are really good at what they do and very, very nice. That's what matters to me is people being nice, treating people the way you want to be treated. And, it's really an important thing to an upcoming school year to treat people the way you want to be treated, treat people equally, and treat people the way you would like to be treated is what it all comes down to. We covered various subjects in this episode of Stormwizard. Next month will be maybe more scheduled. But think about why I took this thing off. Think about that. And this is gone for good. So I will see you next time. See you next month in September. Oh, by the way, coming up in October, I will have Halloween safety tips. So look forward to that. Look forward to Halloween. Look forward to cooler weather. look forward to the fair, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Adventures of Stormwazer. And if I give you any advice, it's be good and love yourself, and I'll see y'all next time. That's all there is to say. Bye-bye.